Before I kick off this Failure Files episode, I want to give you a few updates with Teach Better. We have a wonderful live event happening this Saturday, February 25th. It's a 12-hour live, and I'm going to be moderating or being a guest in 5 different segments. I can't believe it. So jump on. We're going to be live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. So make sure that you check these out. I'm going to have the wonderful opportunity to speak with Laura Rizzo. We're going to be focusing on making students feel seen, so giving some practical relationship strategies for the classroom, but then also talking about some social emotional learning practices that any campus can implement tomorrow. Then we're going to have a lunchtime segment with some administrators. We're going to have a really good conversation around self-care for leaders, and that's going to be with Brian Zwemke, Mark Howler, Sharon Porter, and Lindsay Titus. And I'm super excited for that conversation. The next one I'll be on with Jeff Gargis as we talk through some Edupreneur Mastermind, wonderful information on how to get connected with some other entrepreneurs and potentially build a small business. Then I'll be talking with Katie Miglin on essential skills with social emotional learning and trauma-informed practices. So I'll be given some practical tools for that. And then I'll be joining the whole Teach Better crew at the very end of the day, where we're going to celebrate all of the different segments and kind of give a recap. So hopefully you can jump in the comment section during that live event, ask questions, add some comments. There's going to be giveaways throughout the 12 hours, and I hope that you will participate with us. Welcome back, everyone, to Aspire to Lead, where we will be discussing the visions, inspirations, and experiences from top educational leaders. My name is Joshua Stamper, and you can connect with me on Twitter or on Instagram at Joshua_Stamper. For this Failure Files, I have a wonderful guest, Kim Gameroz, and she was on the Aspire to Lead podcast a while back, did a phenomenal job, so check out that episode. But she is really a change agent for schools and districts who seek to revolutionize classrooms by taking on a systematic approach to teaching social and emotional skills. For the last 15 years, Kim has coached, trained, and mentored teachers all over the country. I'm so excited for her to share a little bit about her story in regards to failure. I think it's really important what she shares. So, Kim, I'd love to know what story you're going to provide for this Failure Files. How have you failed and really took on this experience as a learning opportunity to move you forward?
Oh man, a time when I failed. As a teacher, as an educator, as a leader in education, there are so many times when we fail and we can feel completely crushed. And I feel like a huge one for me, I actually didn't really know what I wanted to do. As soon as I started working at a district office, I thought, this was it. Like, I'm at the district office. I have made it. I thought, okay, a month in, let me just talk to our superintendent. I'm just going to talk to him and I'm going to see, like, what do you see for me? Like, I don't know. Do you see it? Like, I don't really see it. I think this is it. I went into his office and he looked at me and was like, Kim, you're going to become a principal. That's what you're going to do. You're going to become a principal. You're going to go to USC. You're going to get your doctorate. And I looked at him and I was like, I don't think so. And I remember just like sweating and being bright red in the face. And I remember looking at him and I said, I don't think that's what I want to do. And he looked at me like I felt like I had, I don't know, crushed him or something. And I'll never forget the feeling. It was almost like this, like shame almost, like, what are you doing? No. And he looked at me and said, well, you can just take your show on the road then. And I remember walking out of that room thinking, I just made the biggest mistake. I failed. I failed him. I failed my district. They're not going to believe in me. What am I doing? Do I just hide? And truly, I mean, that instance, it changed my life. It changed my complete trajectory. And here I am now. But at the time, I thought that honesty, being honest with myself, I was failing. And now I know that I wasn't at all.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcasts. Now let's get back to the episode.
After listening to Kim's story, it just broke my heart to hear that her superintendent responded in such a way, because instead of encouraging her to move forward with her passions and dreams, it really was more about sharing his disappointment that she wasn't going to follow in the recommended path. And I'll be honest, I had a similar experience, maybe not as harsh in the communication as her superintendent, but I remember meeting with an HR director and providing what I was thinking was going to be my goals for the next position, which was a principalship. And after pouring out all of the things that I've done, the initiatives, why I thought I was ready to move to the next position, I was told that I was probably going to need to go to another district to find those opportunities. It definitely was not what I was thinking was going to occur with this meeting. However, that was what was communicated, and I was extremely disappointed and heartbroken over the thought of working in this district for so long and trying to serve the best I could, and understanding that I was going to have to seek another position elsewhere to get to the goal that I wanted. So with these two stories, right, with the superintendent's response and, of course, my HR director responding in that way, I want to just share 3 things with you to remember as you move forward in your journey. 1, the average American has 3 career changes in their lifespan. Of course, it's different for everyone, but I myself have had 3. Right off the top of my head, I've had a graphic design position, which I got out of college. Then I went to become a teacher, and of course, I was then moved up to administrator, and then now working with the Teach Better team. Those are 3 different career changes. So I'm not talking about promotions or new titles within the same organization. I'm talking about 3 totally different careers. So I need you to remember that even though you're in a school district, that does not mean that that's where you're going to remain. Second thing is that your title does not define you. As a human, you are so much more than your job. Titles, they come and they go. So how are you going to impact the lives of those you serve? Because that experience and how you make them feel, how you serve, how you impact their lives, that can never be taken away from you. Last thing I'll say is your professional trajectory or your professional goals, which are here now, will probably change next week, next month, next year. As you get older and the more experiences you gain in different aspects of your life, it is very natural to have a pivot point, right? So after my uncomfortable conversation with my HR director, I will be quite honest that the way I viewed my pathway, my career goals was very, very different after that meeting. And I started to think about, are there some other things that would be wonderful opportunities for myself? Would they be fulfilling? And what I came out with was, yes, that there are other opportunities, which in turn was why I built the podcast, was not only to help learn career opportunities that were within school districts, and I wanted to serve in a different way, right? So then speaking and then writing a book and all these different things, which led to now working with Teach Better, which is by far the most wonderful opportunity that I've ever had professionally. I've been told before I needed to be a principal to boost my resume, or I needed to eventually go into central office or a superintendent's program before. I'm giving you permission to say no, to move into a direction that is going to be best for your skills, for your mental health, for your fulfillment. Do not take a position because that's the expectation of someone else. If you need to pivot to a different role, to a different career, whatever it needs to be for you to be the best version of yourself, I'm giving you permission to do that. Have some reflection. Understand that in Kim's story, she was honest with herself. She was honest with those above her. And although she didn't get the response that she wanted, it was something that was needed for her to find the best role moving forward. And she is exactly where she's supposed to be. And that probably wouldn't have happened without the conversation with her superintendent. I'm in the exact place that I should be in, completely fulfilled. And that probably wouldn't have happened without the direction and the uncomfortable conversation from my HR director. I hope you well. If you need support in any way, please reach out. Email me, joshua@teachbetter.com. I hope to see everyone at the 12-hour live event this upcoming Saturday. I hope you have a wonderful day.